Now, some of the coaches and administrators, say a few things about them. Carl, the greatest athletic director that I ever was around. He was against Memphis in a snow blizzard storm. And thanks to Charlie Moses for coming up with the idea to switch the shoes from artificial to grass shoes. We didn't slip around as Memphis did that day. But the game's going on, and I mean, it's literally, everything that's green out there was solid white as the snow came down. And I'm on the sidelines, and all of a sudden, here comes a guy sweeping the sidelines so we can see the out of bounds. Who do you think that was? The athletic director.
I remember that. Yeah, the track was running on one end of the field.
I had a speech, and Carl was taking me to a speech in downtown New York City one day. And we're going down there, and I think we're supposed to be there at 12, and it's like 11:40 or something, and we're stuck on the parkway there, traffic just all over the place, no way of getting there. Didn't have a thing. All of a sudden, an ambulance comes by, passes us. Carl jumps right in behind him. Wait a minute. For block after block, we made it on time. Jack Hecker, I've known for 50 years. Jack was a great athlete at Bowling Green. We coached together at Miami of Ohio, and then, of course, we're together here at West Point. One thing about Jack, and I don't know that this is true, but I almost think it is. I'm serious. Jack spent more years coaching football at Army than probably any coach in the history of the academy. I'm pretty sure he's got to be very close, goes 25 years. Because back in the early days, most of those coaches moved on. They were military. They didn't stay that long. And Jack, I think, is probably the all-time individual to be connected so long with the Army football team, not only in the period of you guys, but back in the 60s and 70s when he was with Tom Cahill in the great years of those 60s. John Seymour is another guy that certainly spent a lot of years here at West Point. I remember when I came in here, John was on the way to Germany. He was in the military. He was going to be sent to Germany. And I wanted him to stay, asked him to stay, because I thought John would give me the experience of a football player at the academy, of a cadet, and of a coach. And John did that. John was a very valuable man in helping me understand the academy. Bob Sutton, I'm really glad to see Bob here. Bob, we go back to the early 70s when we worked together at Michigan. Known Bob since that period of time. He, a brilliant mind, did a fabulous job as the defensive coordinator here, and then has the distinction of all the coaches that ever coached at the academy of winning 10 games in one season. There hasn't been anybody that's ever done that. So, and Dick Camp, on the sidelines every game with the yard markers. Our youth Christian fellowship meetings, and you know, I thought maybe we were going to sing Lord of the Dance tonight. As I recall, we did that one many times. And then I want to mention somebody that wasn't a football player, wasn't a coach or an administrator, but was a very important person, certainly to me and to my time here at the academy or wherever I've been, and that's my wife, Jane. She didn't know anything about football when we got together. She was going to be a medical social worker, played the organ, the piano, and she's a better fan of football right now than I am, probably. But had to do a lot of things over the years. You know, every job, the only place we ever got quarters was when we came here to Army. But every other job, it was hers. I just took off to go coach. And she had to sell the house, buy a new one, do all of that. And she did a great job on that. Two things about her at West Point. We used to have Beast Barracks after 5 weeks or whatever. You got a afternoon off, 5 hours or 4 hours. And all of the plebes that were football players generally came to our quarters, so that we had sometimes 80 or 90 or 100 cadets there, or plebes there. And so the first year, and they everybody, and some of you were probably involved in that, came in, lined up to get on the phone, turned on the TV, went up and lay down in the beds, or ate where we had the food and so forth. And after that, on about Wednesday, there in the mail, Jane got 80 thank yous. And she said to me, she said, those mothers must have really done a good job with those guys. Because they all said thank yous. I said, Jane, I don't think it was a mother. I have an idea they didn't have any choice. But that's true. And then we used to have the quarterback luncheons there. And we'd be sitting at a table, and the coffee would always be sitting over here like one of these places. So we go to this luncheon, and we're sitting with General Scott, and he said, Jane, can I get you some coffee? And she said, yes. And so General Scott turns to get the coffee there, and there's none there. So he takes off through back into the kitchen to get the coffee. I said, Jane, do you realize you just sent a 3-star general into the kitchen? But anyhow, those are some of the stories that I remember. And I just want to say one short thing about the present football, because it is coming back. And I don't think there's any question, well, there's a little question, but not much. They're going to be in a bowl this year, because they have 5 wins, and they have those games yet to play, and they're going to win. So they're going to go to a bowl in their second year. Rich Ellerson is a fine coach. I worked with him for 3 years, and I think that the Army is in a good position to win again. I'm proud of all you guys in 1985, and I'm proud of what you've done in the military, what you've done out of the military at this stage in your life. And it was a great thrill, really was, for me to coach here at West Point and to be associated with you men. And it's something that sticks with me. The thrill of being part of it was a thrill that I'll never forget. And if there's, you know, we got all these, what the mind can conceive and so forth, but pride, poise, and team. I think you men demonstrated that, and I know you've demonstrated it many other times other than just on the football. Pride, proud of what you're doing. Poise, the ability to handle stressful situations and come out with success. And team, not separate defensive backfield things. Just throw that in there. Team, being together as a team. And you demonstrated that. And I want you to think about that 2-year record, because I don't think anybody ever correlates that thing. That's 60 years of Army football since that occurred, and it occurred in your time frame. And I think that's a great tribute to you men. So, Thanks for having me back.